Well, I'm back for Going to Ground. Hello everybody, it's Friday afternoon and you find me in glorious Wiltshire at the dimming of the day. Behind me is what remains of Faulkner's Circle, which was one of the stone circles of the Avebury site, and all it is now is one great lumpy stone here, not a circle at all, but imposing nevertheless. And behind me, sorry, it's going to be a noisy one today because the wind's quite high. You can perhaps see in the distance some of the stone avenue of Avebury, and Effie and me, there she is, are out for an evening stroll, and I thought I'd check in with you, not least as I promised to let you know how the river blessing went in Carn on Saturday. It was great actually. I had waders were the right size, and over them went my purple cassock. Not the most stylish or indeed practicable combination, but it was a really special occasion actually, and all sorts of people gathered there, and we gave thanks for the life of the river, and it felt a fitting time of the year to be doing so. Whoops. It's like a challenge of going to ground while dog walking and trying to blow one's nose at the same time. So excuse me for a moment, have a look at the Avebury World Heritage Site instead. A little interlude. So yes, in the week of the spring equinox, it seemed an appropriate time to be doing something creational in the River Marden. And then thereafter, it's been a fascinating Going to Ground week. I was up in Coventry on Monday speaking at a reconciliation conference there in the cathedral, and as some of you will know, that is well worth exploring, and I'd never really done so before. Visited very briefly once years ago, but the experience of seeing the old bombed out shell of the old cathedral adjacent to the glorious masterpiece that is the post-war building was really profound. And I might say more about that. I've put lots and lots of photographs up on Instagram this week about it because it's been fabulous to see. I'm going to let Effie off the lead actually. I haven't, because Effie loves cabbage, and as you can see, this is a cabbage field. So whether I get her back or not is a moot point, friends. But we'll see. It's into the middle distance already. And anyway, Coventry Cathedral was a great experience and a real privilege to see that cross made of charred wood that the clerk of works at the cathedral found the morning after the bombing raid, and the words "Father forgive" engraved later on behind it, and to read of the Dean's instruction immediately that there should be no thoughts of reprisal or revenge, but a recognition that this should be the destruction of the cathedral should be a prompting for the pursuit of peace and reconciliation, which in the teeth of the war was an extraordinary thing, and I'm sure not entirely popular thing to say. Effie, excuse me a minute. Effie, good girl. my authority, by the way, everybody. That is the effect of a meaty treat on my hound. And so there we are, that was that. And today the church commemorates the 14th century, I think 14th century, mystic Walter Hilton, who I think we've mentioned at this time of year before on Going to Ground. It's actually the 3rd anniversary of going to Ground this week, so thank you, especially to those of you who have been with us from the beginning, original groundlings. Thank you for your support and encouragement. And Hilton was one of those contemplative thinkers who has proved evergreen in the spirituality of the church. I brought my dad's old volume of his classic The Ladder of Perfection with me, and I read a little bit of this, and goodness me, it was challenging, very Lenten. And I'm just going to get Effie back again, so it's slightly disjointed film today. There's another little treat for Effie. Keep her close by. Let me just read, if I can, again one-handed, a little passage where he talks about the life of the soul. And he says this: therefore, as your efforts hitherto have been to withstand grave material sins and open temptations of the devil which originate outside yourself, you must now undertake this spiritual task within yourself, and so far as you are able, destroy and break up the roots of sin in yourself. And I will now advise you as I can, so that you may more readily bring this about. So he then proceeds to explain various spiritual practices that might do that digging up of the roots. And it's the tension between the interior life, which is the concern of the contemplative, of the mystic, and the outside material life. That is his concern. It's all very well withstanding the things that assail us from outside, but another thing entirely to master the internal struggle. And goodness me, I recognise that, and I'm no expert in it at all, but the possibility of it is perhaps the most profound hope of the Christian faith, of an interior transformation that relates to the outside world, and indeed that a recognition that the problems of the world are actually the problems of the heart, which goes to the centre of Christ's teaching, particularly on the Sermon on the Mount. It's what comes out of us that's the problem. It's the heart of the human problem is the problem of the human heart, as it's sometimes put. Well, God bless you with that challenge as you seek that in your own life, and I will need your prayers as I pray for you today, as I try to do the same. And I'm going to sign off here and leave you with the brooding sky and the beauty of the Wiltshire landscape. God bless you, friends, until you go to ground.